Okay, for my project today, I'd like to do a little repair on the door off of my 55 series Chevy truck. When I was removing the door, taking the bolts out of the hinge, I noticed on the lower hinge that the bolts felt funny. So when I got the door off, I noticed that the hinge pocket bracket was cracked all the way around the weld nuts. So what I'd like to do today is remove the bracket, the hinge pocket bracket, and repair it, hopefully, and then reinstall it, weld it back into place. They do sell a aftermarket hinge pocket. If I can't, if mine's messed up and not solid enough, then I'll buy one, but my plan is right now is to repair it. So I'll drill out the spot welds, take it out, like I said, hopefully repair it, and then put it back in and weld it back in and clean it up. So that's the plan. Okay, here's the door. I got it sandblasted. Bottom was is very solid. Kind of happy about that. The problem I'm talking about is right here in the hinge pocket. You can see it's cracked all around the weld nuts. So what I need to do is remove it. So I'm going to have to drill out the spot welds. Appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the inside of the door. I believe there should be a couple more here. So what I'll do is I'll drill those out, pull the pocket out. I'm going to see if I can repair it without putting in a replacement. We'll see how that goes. What I plan to use to drill out these spot welds is a spur bit, which I ground on my bench grinder. You can see here that it has a point to get it started centered, and then there's two cutting edges here and here, and with it being flat like this, it won't blow through both pieces of metal. It'll just cut through the door skin and not into the hinge pocket assembly. So then when I put it back in, I can just weld it right back in place where it belongs. So I'm going to do this with my cordless drill, and I'll show you that now. Okay, I'll do a close-up of one of the first ones. Here's a spot weld. Center the bit on there. Get started. Okay, you can see that the drill cut through the door skin but didn't go through the hinge pocket assembly, so that's what we're looking for. So now I'm going to drill out the rest of them. Okay, I had to grab a different drill motor. Other batteries were dead, and I touched up the cutting edge on the bit with the grinder, getting a little dull. Okay, now I'm going to draw out the, looks like there's 4 On the inside here on the door jamb. The other thing I wanted to show you was that there was actually 12 spot welds that held the hinge pocket bracket in. So there was 5 on the top part of the door. This is the top side of the door that way. 5 on the bottom, and then 4 here around the jamb of the door. So that's all that was. So after I repair it and I get it back into place, I'll be able to line it up better because it's already marked from where I drilled through. So I should be able to line it up perfectly with these holes. With the exception of this one that I blew through, I should be able to just go ahead and spot weld that sucker right back into place. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, to give you an idea of what I have in mind, this assembly is pretty solid except for the fact that it cracked where the weld nuts are at. So what I like to do, or what I plan to do, so I'm going to get a piece of 1/8 inch, maybe 1/4 inch steel, and it's 2 1/4 wide right here to the bend, and then past the last nut there it's about 4 inches, so maybe I'll go 4 1/4, and I'll make a piece that has holes in it so that the nuts can stay in place, and then I'll slide it over the nuts, weld it all the way around. I may put some plug welds in it to sturdy this up. I'll see how that goes as I'm doing it. We'll see how that turns out. But that's my plan on fixing it. So take it from there. Okay, here is the hinge pocket bracket all welded up. There's an 1/8 inch plate right here that I cut, and I drilled holes and squared them up so that it would fit over top of the nuts, and then I welded the plate to the nuts and to the bracket itself. Here is a picture of the plate after I drilled the holes and I squared them up with the die grinder. That's a picture of the die grinder and the bracket and the plate. There's a close-up of the plate with the holes squared up. And then I clamped a square tube to the bracket with some C-clamps. And the reason I did that is to keep the inside where the hinge goes bolts against the bracket, keep that flat. Here's a picture of it clamped up with the pipe, another view of it, and then there's a picture looking down on the end of it. As you can see that the pipe is flat against the inside of the hinge pocket. So next step will be to position the hinge pocket into the door and then weld it back in. On the door itself, I ground the primer off where I'm going to be welding so it doesn't contaminate my welds, and I did the same here on the end. When the hinge pocket is inside there, I believe there should be a spot weld right here. This bracket, when it's inside the door, runs right here. So I'm going to check that out, and I'll probably drill another hole here, and when it's in place I will plug weld that part of the bracket to the door right there as well.
so I'll be back.
Something else I wanted to mention, that everywhere that I'll be welding, along here and where all the spot welds are here, as well on the end of the door where the door jamb, I sandblasted all of that, and we'll prime that with weld-through primer just to protect it after it's welded. Everywhere where I'm not welding, the primer will be there to protect it. This is what I did. I got the bracket up inside the door, the hinge pocket bracket up inside the door. I used a 3/8 fine threaded long bolt here and this bracket that I had to suck the hinge pocket up into place. You can see how the holes that I drilled with the spur bit are lining up inside of the holes that I drilled out. So this tells me that this hinge pocket is back in a proper place. You can also see that I put a screw here and here to help suck the bracket up, because especially back in here the bracket seemed to be laying low and it wouldn't be up against the inside of the door. I mentioned earlier also that there was no hole here to hit the bracket, the part of the bracket support that runs this way, so I did drill that hole. I need to bend that bracket out a little bit because there is a gap there. It's not flat up against it, so when I take it out I'll straighten that out, put it back in. So I'm going to pull the hinge pocket back out, bend that part of it to line it up with this new hole right here, and then I'll spray the weld-through primer on it and put it back in, and then weld it into place. The bracket's back in the door. I sprayed the weld-through primer where I'm going to be welding. I got it supported with my my bolt and bracket here and the two screws here to keep it up tight against the back side of the door. Also down here I bent the bracket, so now that is up tight against the door, so when I plug weld that, that should be good as well. As you can see, all the drill marks line up, so this thing is in the right position, and we got the same deal on top. Everything's lined up real nice, so it's looking good. Got the welder ready, and going to weld it in place. Okay, I'm going to start to weld the plug welds. What I like to do is I like to start on the outside of the hole in the door, contact the door and the bracket with the weld, make a circle around the hole, and then fill it in, and bam, it's good. Like I had mentioned, I started on the outside edge, just welded around the circle, filled it in. I did miss a spot here, so I went back and I filled that in. So now I'm just going to weld the rest of the holes. Okay, I have all the spot weld's done, I'm going to take the screws out that I was using to hold it in place. And then I'm going to fill those holes in as well. Alright, I'm running out of tape here, so here's a quick shot of all the holes spot welded there and on the sides. And I'm going to clean that up and then I'll be back. Here's a close-up of the welds ground off. This part, these welds right here, you will see they're outside on the door, and these ones here are underneath the access cover, so you won't see those. Here's the ones on the end, and all looks pretty good. Time-wise, 45 minutes to take it out, maybe an hour and a half to make the plate, weld it on, and sandblast the bracket, prime it, and then another hour to put it into place and do the welding. So seemed to be a pretty good job. Went pretty well, not too hard, so that's that. See ya.